It's called the DBR9, has an all-carbon fibre body, so it weighs nearly a ton less than the standard DB9. And yet its V12 chucks out 600 brake horsepower. The result is 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. And now let's see what that sounds like. Fantastic, I say, as the Stig spears off the line with plenty of wheel spin. First corner gently on the way in there, then hard on the power, cornering absolutely flat. Oh dear, DBR9 has no stereo, so no prog rock. Look at it through Chicago, no drama at all. And it bouncing on the way into the hammerhead. Slow in again, and here comes the power. That is amazing. That is not 200 miles an hour, by the way, on the speedo, because this car is in euros. Very quick through the tyres. This is really fast, I have to say. He's turning in now, downforce working with him, coming up to Gambon. Can you guess that one right? We're on for a quick time. Can you guess? What do you reckon? 1 minute? 1:18. He reckons 1 minute 18, this chap. The actual time was 1 minute 8 seconds. Whoa. That's how fast that thing is. But, whoa, you can't buy this car, so it has no place on our board. Oh. Sorry. Some say he never blinks and that he roams around the woods at night foraging for wolves. All we know is he's called the Stig. Goes. Oh, lots of wheel spin off the line there. The Stig has the traction control very, very off. Up to the first corner. Here he comes, sliding a little bit on the way in. Loads of tyre squeal, but it's drowned out by the sounds of that big, angry, supercharged V8. Or it would be if the Stig weren't listening to his new collection of prog rock. Focus there. Very good. He's leading to Chicago. Big, big slide on the way out. And he's on his way down to the hammerhead. Braking in this car is so brutal, it would be less painful to actually hit the tree you were trying to miss. Look how flat it is round there, though. Very heavy car, but he's got it in the Airmatic 2 setting. Coming up into the follow-through. Listen to that noise. It's like Barry White eating wasps. Okay, we're going over the first half. The CLS was very, very quick. Can he maintain it all the way to the line? Into Gambon, kicking up dust, and across the line. Now, this is the first opportunity we've ever had to see how fast one of these AMG engine Mercs will go around our track. The only one we've ever had before was the SL, which is way down here for 2 reasons. First, it was very, very wet, and secondly, it was mine. And I told the Stig to back off a bit. Anyway, this has gone round in 1 minute 26.9, which is way up here. 4-door saloon, only 0.1 of a second slower than a Ferrari 575. That is a phenomenal car. Some say he is illegal in 17 US states, and he blinks this way. All we know is he's called the Stig. And away he goes. It is soaking wet out there today, so will this American weapon kill the Stig with friendly fire? Through the first corner, look at the standing water there. He's holding it together, though, very nicely. Prog rock from Camel there, down on the farm. Right, coming through Chicago, keeping it together, treacherous conditions, backstepping out a little bit on the exit, coming up to Hammerhead, nose heavy car, so I'd expect a lot of understeer here. But the Stig's thought of that, look, the answer is lashings of throttle and power oversteer. Well done, Stiggy. Now, through follow-through. Will he keep his foot down? Absolutely. I don't know what brave calls he takes, but they're not available on prescription. Now, I should add, even with the traction control off, the Caddy's still trying to use its brakes to stop the car sliding. And, of course, the Stig needs no such help. But will the annoying computers hurt his time? There he is, across the line. I have the time here, and it is 1 minute 33.4, which is kind of down there. Now, this is the interesting thing, look. The Monaro, also in the wet, 1:33.2. 1:38.9, so half a second quicker than the Vauxhall.
Ah, but is it? Because it's not.
Some say that his breath smells of magnesium and that he's scared of bells. We know only that he's called the Stig. Okay, away he goes. Now, this Aston is completely original. The brakes, tyres, suspension, engine, they're all as they were when it was built by men in a shed, so this could be interesting. Already it's rolling like a performing dog. Prog Rock Stick back to focus this week. House of the King. Okay, right, comes through Chicago. Good Lord, that's messy. Oversteer roll, whole palette of vintage behaviour here. So what's it going to be like in the hammerhead? Ooh, look at there's everything going on, and certainly not fast. Whole car wishing it was pottering through Monte Carlo in 65. Follow through, sounding good. Don't think the Stig's going to lift off. No, he hasn't. If he did, I think the car would grind to a halt. Penultimate corner. Looking well slow, actually, frankly. And the last corner, Gambon, and eventually across the line. And we have a new record on the Top Gear track. The slowest car ever! Oh, yeah. 1:46.
That's disappointing, really, isn't
That's what you call progress, really. Slower than a Range Rover. But there we are. We must now find out how fast the tweaked E-Type goes. And he's off again. Now, this car has modern brakes, modern tyres and uprated suspension, so hopefully it'll be rather more lively than the Aston. Let's find out. First corner. Looking especially fast, but at least body roll isn't on a par with that of a small yacht. Here we go, into Chicago. Oh, that is much better. The cornering's neat and flat. Oh, that's... And Stig looking good. Right, hammerhead, tyres squealing on the way in, but it's still sort of keeping its composure. Those updated bits have clearly worked well. Follow through. Sounding good and looking gorgeous. If you hear a funny noise at this point, it's Richard Hammond having a trouser accident. Coming up to, there's Gambon and across the line. I've got the time here, and it was 1:32.8.
Hey, that's not bad.
Look at that.
That's not bad.
Look at this. As near as makes no difference, exactly. Right, away he goes. Tyres smoking under the mighty force of all those torques. Down to the first corner. How's it going to look through there? Ooh, a bit of understeer on the way in. Doesn't sound too sporty, but looking pretty neat so far. Ah, yes, Stig particularly happy today because he's just been given the new album by Camel. And this car is so quiet he can hear every last noodly synth styling. Okay, here he is into the hammerhead. Heavy diesel engine could mean serious understeer. No, Stig's kicked the tail out. Look at the inside tyre smoking. This car could really do with a limited slip dip. Here's the follow through. Yeah, lots of composure through there. Looking, well, quite unspectacular, actually. Probably being quite economical, though. 2 corners left. Here we go, last one. That's very good. Dragged round by the anvil in the nose. Slithering into Gambon and across the line. Yes, okay. I have the time. I have the time here, and it is 1:31.8.
Hey, that's very good.
That's the same as a Nissan 350, that thing you like, that Datsun with a Renault engine.
It's a very nice
same
car.
as a Mazda RX-8. A diesel is faster than a Focus RS. Anyway, we must now find out how fast this goes round our track, which means, of course, we must hand it over to our tame racing driver. Some say that his heart ticks like a watch, and that he's confused by stairs. All we know is he's called the Stig. Oh, away he goes. Masses of wheel spin off the line. Of course, Stig has all the electronics off because he has the talent to handle the power. And the fact he fears neither pain nor death, of course. First corner looking smooth. That is very flat, very neat. Textbook stuff. Stig enjoying the sounds of green slide there. Side manners are extra, Chicago. Oh, now look at that. The car flat and in the hands of an expert but it is unstoppable. Look at him through the hammerhead. Easing on the power, clever diff, working its magic. Actually, that's quite a poor song, to be honest. Now, here he comes into the follow-through. Changes up a bit, but he hasn't lifted. To the tyres. Whoa! We've had Aston Martin Le Mans racer and an F1 car through there. Nothing has hit the tyre wall with that much violence. He's only got Gambon to go. This is going to be quick if he can keep it together and across the line. No, pipe down. We analysed that footage. The Stig actually hit the tyres. He was cutting it so fine, there was a line of rubber all down the side of the Ferrari when he finished. Even so, do you want to know what time he did? Yeah. 1:22.9, which is there.
The really amazing thing, though, is that we also sent the Spider round, the convertible, only 0.3 of a second slower, which is just absolutely remarkable.
It is incredible, but shall I say something really incredible? Look at this, 122.9. The old Ferrari 360, 122.3, 0.6 of a second faster. Now, there is a reason for that, quite apart from the fact this was the Challenge Stradale. The Stig and the Ferrari test driver say that the 430 is slower because it runs on Bridgestones, and the old 360 was on Pirellis. So if when you're in the Ferrari showroom specking your car up, forget the flappy paddle carbon ceramic stitching, OK? Just say to them, get those Bridgestones off it. OK.
That's quite boring.
Yeah, it's very difficult to make tyres interesting, I apologise. Some say that his voice can only be heard by cats, and that he has 2 sets of knees. All we know is he's called the Stig. Okay, away he goes, bouncing off the limiter with a puff of smoke. All going well so far, but that's because he's going in a straight line. Here comes the first corner, though. This is where it's going to get interesting. Turns in hard, tyres squealing in pain. He's not crashed yet. The Stig shaking his head there. Not even the sound of camel can soothe him. Braking very hard into Chicago. Very neat so far through there, but what's it going to be like on the way out? Oh, a little bit messy on the grass. Okay, he's trying to oversteer on the way into Hammerhead. Now he'll get look at that understeer! It's understeering like a shopping trolley full of logs. This car is completely bonkers, but Stig bravely keeping his foot down through the follow-through and looking quick through the tyres, very quick. There are 2 corners left now. Here he comes, look at him sawing away at the wheel. No curb left unclipped on the grass again. Sweaty paws now, he's going across the line. Very good driving from the Stig there, because it was potty. I have the time, and it is 1 minute and 33 seconds dead, which is in there. Now, as you'd expect... And there he goes, plenty of wheel spin, because of course the Stig has the car in M mode, and that means the full 507 brake horsepower. Here we go, first corner, look a bit nervous actually on the way in. And a lot of tyre squeal, and oversteer on the way out.
Turn left half a mile ahead.
Oh dear, the sat-nav appears to have distracted the Stig there. Look, very wide into Chicago and very slippery on the way out. Okay, into Hammerhead. Big, heavy V10 lump at the front. Will it make it understeer? No, it doesn't. Look at that. That's very smooth. Stig doing very well there. That little bit of drift on the way out there. Graph generated. Not one of my favourites, must be honest. Maybe a heavy car, feels light and nimble around the track though. And here it comes. Ooh, look at that, it's very fast. Stig's in the groove now. I have to say the BMW's ABS is very aggressive, cuts in too early for serious late braking. Doesn't seem to have upset Stiggy's on the grass, coming round Gambon. And across the line. I'll give you the time in a minute. First of all, though, I must just explain, when I drove this car on a track, the diff exploded and it had to go away on a tow truck. And then, when the Stig drove it this morning, he finished his lap and on the dashboard, big warning light, traction control gone all wrong. Yeah,
that's
sounds a
worrying.
bit fragile. Even so, despite that, he did it in 1 minute, 26.2 seconds, which is there.
That's good.
It's good. I mean, for a four-door saloon, it's awesome, and nearly everything in front of it, look, is a supercar. I mean, it's half a second quicker than that Merc, the CLS-55.
I just somehow thought it was going to be quicker.
I still think, despite the fragility... Maserati MC Hammer here, OK? And we suspect it may be quicker than the Ferrari Enzo. We suspect it could be the fastest car ever to go round our track. So that means we've got to bring out our house-trained racing driver. Some say he's wanted by the CIA and that he sleeps upside down like a bat. All we know is he's called the Stig. Away he goes, massive wheel spin, smearing the track with rubber from those huge, huge tyres. Now, down to the first corner. Oh, he's very fast in. Look how flat it is, no roll at all. But look, you can see the Stig working hard in there. Stig's new prog rock fixation has reached King Crimson. Around Chicago, still looking very flat, very smooth. Coming up to the hammerhead, braking hard. The ABS in this is less intrusive than it is in the Enzo, so the Stig can brake later. That will help his time. Now follow through, listen. Totally committed, and unlike the Enzo, the Maserati stability control just lets him get on with the job. Normally you get these driver aids, they're supposed to help drivers, but the Stig doesn't need that help. He likes to just have him and the machine. No electronic interference, and that's what this car is. Coming through Gambon, is he going to make it?
Did it? Oh, come on, did he?
1:19 to beat.
We know that.
OK, 1:19. He did it in 1:18.9.
Fastest car, and it's a car you didn't like.
OK, away he goes, and look at those stupid sideways exhausts there. This car really does think it's bonkers, but can it do a bonkers lap? First corner, drifting nicely through there, and really quite sideways on the way out. Stig still into his prog rock. Emerson, Lake and Palmer this week. Chicago looking a lot neater there. Yeah, he's kept the tail in check, but now it's the real test. It's the hammerhead. A bit hairy under the braking. He's got it very sideways now. This really is a raw meat car, which, funnily enough, is Stig's favourite food. OK, we're coming up to the follow-through. Will he lift? Will he? Not even slightly. This is going to be a fast lap. 2 more corners to go. Should say this car rides incredibly well, which is useful if the Stig's going to do that. OK, round Gambon, very sideways, and across the line. Yes. Anybody want to hazard a guess? You want to hazard a guess? How quick, do you reckon?
124.
124? So this sort of area here? Yeah. You're exactly right, it's 124.6. And that is the fastest. That's the fastest kind of normal car, sub-supercar. It's faster than a 575, it's faster than an Evo FQ. It's just below the Koenigsegg's and the Zondas and so on. That is really, really quick car. I don't think even the Mercedes-55 would keep up with that. Anyway, we must move on.